welcome back to the channel. And today we are in our CWO matchup versus Town Hall Legends. And we are going to be taking a look at Swizz coming in here. Swizz got a fresh 6-pack this war, but both of his attacks were very different, and both of them deserve to be recapped. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing a base identification video today. Before we get started, just want to go ahead and say thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate all the support. Make sure you keep liking the videos. My wife is actually going out of town this week, so I have to record all my content in the beginning of the week because she does all the editing and uploading. So she's going to be out of town, so I got to kind of jam through like 5 videos or 6 videos for the week just so she can get them preset to upload and everything. So my plans for the week, I'm going to be bringing, 3 or 4 of the base identification videos. I think those are my most popular. Those are probably the most popular content that I put out there. I'll probably end up doing another Yeti one. I'm going to try to avoid doing any hybrid. We got some dragon attacks, some queen charge hogs, which is about to come on this video. And yeah, so that's my plans for the week. I'm also going to be showing how my base did on defense. So far, it's doing pretty well. It's held a hybrid, and it's held a Yeti Smash. So we'll check that out at the end of war just to see how many defenses I can actually rack up. So that's my ideas for the future content, at least for this week. So let's go ahead and get into the video. And I also got a comment on my last video that my sketch wasn't working on some of the parts of the funnel video. So I apologize for that. There's nothing I can really do about it other than go back and re-record it. So instead of doing that, I'll just make sure I do some quality control before I send these videos up to be posted on YouTube. All right, so this base right here is kind of like a mix between those Ante 3 and kind of Legend League bases. I am not very good at hitting these bases. It's actually going to be kind of a point of focus for me. I feel like I've been struggling, and I feel like the reason I've been struggling is because I haven't really gotten to the whole 5v5 one-hit format scene, and I don't really do any of the Legends League stuff, and I don't really do the Supercell Clan War Leagues. So all my FCing and practicing and stuff is all done on bases that are really like anti-3 custom built bases, and we just don't see many of that kind of style of base anymore. Most of the bases that we've been seeing these last couple weeks, kind of surprisingly to us, were these kind of anti-2 2.5 kind of meta bases. So that's going to be a point of interest for me in the coming weeks. I got a whole bunch of legend bases on cooldown right now, and I'm going to be getting into not only figuring out how to attack those for myself, but figuring out how to attack them, and I'll upload that to my YouTube channel for you guys if you see them, and then you can reference the attack. But for this base right here, me and Swizz were discussing the plan right here, and I kind of came up with the idea that let's go ahead and cut the base in half. Well, let's do quarters. So all right, so I kind of came up with the idea that the base kind of forms itself into a natural L by cutting out one of the quadrants. So just looking at the quadrants, you got to kind of figure which quadrant gives you the most value for the strongest attack. So when you're doing something like hogs, or you're doing something like Lalo, one of the biggest things that you need to take out is the enemy heroes, and preferably you get all 3 of the the ones that target hogs and follow hogs and are really difficult to kill. So that would be like the RC, the King, and the Queen. The Warden's not really a big deal, but it is nice to get him because he does buff the other heroes. So this quadrant right here, we'll go ahead and just mark it like this, has 2 of the 3 big heroes, and then obviously the Warden sitting there at 9 o'clock. And it also has the Eagle, which is another huge problem for something like hogs or for Lalo. It's got 1 wizard tower and a couple point defenses. The point defenses aren't really a huge deal, but if you can get into this layer here with your queen, you can also rack out 2 expos, 2 bomb towers, and 2 more wizard towers. So when you start carving that out of the base, you can really start seeing the kind of damage that just your queen with 5 healers and a couple spells can do to this base. All right, so there you can start seeing more and more of the L shape that I was talking about. And at this point, you haven't used, your Barbarian King, you haven't used your Royal Champ, you haven't used the Siege Machine. You're just planning on getting the Queen charge. So you have all that extra support to get into this L. Now the Town Hall in the center does kind of provide a little bit of a buffer, especially for the defensive team, because Hogs are not very good at dealing with the Town Hall in the center of the base or at the end of the base. And you also have to count on percent being in your favor as you approach this lane. So in my Lalo video, I kind of preached about keeping everything in a lane. Hogs are a little bit different. Hogs do need to be kept in the same lane. However, hogs kind of have the ability to be able to split more than what Lalo can, because with hogs under a heal, they're a little bit more tanky, right? So if you can get the heals to kind of cover these, then it doesn't really matter. Like if you get 4 or 5 hogs per defense, you're looking pretty good in that channel. You don't really need to go through in a strict wave like you would for a Lalo. So just looking at the base, obviously the places that you're going to want to make sure you have a heal spell for. Let's go ahead and count that the bomb towers and the wizard tower will be down. This area right here. But you're probably going to want to move that heal to cover at least the front part of the town hall, or the back part of the Inferno, sorry, because this whole compartment, minus this area between the air defense and the Inferno tower, is a double giant bomb compartment. So while double giant bombs don't just outright murder your hogs like they used to, in combination with the scatter shot, they definitely do a lot of damage. So you're going to want to make sure you have a heal spell at least covering going into that area. The Warden kind of helps with that because he buffs the hogs quite a bit with his HP. But then you start looking at stuff like there's definitely a spring trap spot here, definitely giant bomb spots here, and then this around the town hall. If the town hall is activated as your hogs are sweeping through this way and it's damaging your hogs and you don't have like a freeze spell, and then you hit here with all your hogs at once, and 2 giant bombs go off or 3 giant bombs go off, that's going to be a really bad day if you don't have that tome already activated. So that's something that you're looking out for. And then again, you're looking here, here, and all of this. Now, one thing you will kind of notice is all those are giant bomb spots, but there's actually very few spring trap locations, which in my opinion for hogs are much more detrimental. So you have 1, 2, 3, I guess 4, 5, and then 6. So that's probably where the spring traps are in this base. Maybe, he's got some in here because of the bomb tower. It's kind of a good combination. But you can kind of plan out where the traps are going to be if all the traps were loaded into this location. Now, he might have those traps here because those are defenses and spring trap locations. But there's no giant bombs in here because the spacing won't allow for it. And there's no giant bombs in here because the spacing won't allow for it. So you have to start plugging in where all those giant bombs could be and where all those spring traps can be. Okay, so that's just kind of like a pretty simple base identification, at least for your hogs. Hybrid is a little bit different because in my hybrid video I kind of described that miners and hogs don't approach spring traps the same way, but that's going to be what we're using for this base. So how are we going to deal with the compartment we want the queen to charge into? Well, with bases like this, the weakness here is if you charge into the base from the corner, in my experience, 9 times out of 10, you get a wall break here and a wall break here. The queen kind of ping pongs between the 2 sides, but ends up stepping forward to start getting these 2 buildings down. And then she steps forward for the eagle, and then she does the same thing, kind of ping pongs, then ping pongs, and she keeps walking forward. So she doesn't really need a huge funnel. I'm not 100% sure if that's the angle he takes, but I know he ends up getting into the base. I actually think he comes kind of at a side angle and then funnels like over here. And the queen kind of picks off these buildings and heads in. But either way you do it, the plan works the same. Things that you need to make sure you are paying attention to on this queen charge is, 1, the warden hits like a truck. So his radius, you're going to want to make sure that your queen is stepping into this area where you have all these point defenses, plus the enemy queen, plus the enemy king. You want to make sure she's raged up. So if you're coming in here, you need to have that rage on the queen and the healers stepping into this area. Once you clear this area, obviously you'll have the CC coming out. These expos are on air. Once you get the heroes down and you get the CC starting to engage and some of these point defenses down, another rage in this area will get you through the rest of this compartment. And then the third rage, obviously, whichever side she steps to clear that out, she should wrap back around, get the other side. Now, what you're going to want to make sure you're doing with your queen charge in order to support your hogs the most is, say she comes in this way, she's going to pick a side to go to. If she comes up here to get this bomb tower and this wizard tower, and she gets it, this is the side you want to hog into. Because what you're doing is you're avoiding those high damage areas for hogs. And as you come around here, it's going to allow you to use your heals in the spaces that you absolutely need them. And you're not tripping this bomb tower. So your hogs come through here, you heal over to scatter. You know, your hogs are coming through this area. You might get a heal down here leading into this back end scatter. And then your queen, by the time they reach the back, should have wrapped back around and dealt with these. Because that's how queens kind of act in these diamond triangle shaped compartments, I guess. So things that you're going to want to make sure you're doing is checking out where traps could be in this location for your queen charge. So everything around here, if you're using regular wall breakers, is a possible wall break trap. And it is also a possible seeking air mine slash red bomb area. Red bombs don't really make a whole lot of sense, but definitely probably some SAMs in here to try to trip up a queen charge. And then also this double space behind the flag and this double space all behind these are Tesla locations, Tesla location, Tesla, Tesla, Tesla. So this was a fresh attack, so you can't always deal with every single trap, you know, off the cuff, but those are the places that you need to be looking out for. So he does have super wall breakers, so he's going to end up wall breaking into both of these relatively easy and bring some Coco Loons to soak those SAMs. And, you know, you should be, it's a pretty easy entry. Don't let the little corners, it's actually easier to charge into a corner than it is anywhere else. So now that we have the queen charge done, we have where we want to start our hogs from. We have two more areas to discuss, and that's the enemy royal champ. So generally speaking, with hogs, you can take out one or two heroes. It's not like a huge deal. However, if I have my royal champ and my hogs coming through this way, and I want them to wrap this way, coming out here for this inferno, and then trying to deal with this enemy royal champ is a lot of damage, especially on hogs. And if your RC is dealing with like ground skellies, this royal champ is going to be just teeing off on your hogs and your royal champ at the same time. So you want to spend as little time in this compartment as possible with your hogs and your royal champ, because you want to get them into that heal and head towards 6 o'clock where you're going to meet up with your queen who's clearing out this compartment here. So how do we deal with that? Well, we're using the queen at 9, but we don't really have a job for the king or the siege barracks because we're using hogs, and hogs don't really need like the best funnel. So we can bring the king in to do a hero trade right here and save ourselves the grief. This is also a good location for Teslas on the back end to kind of try to throw off your hog pathing or Lalo pathing. So king comes in here and he clears all this out and he tanks a little bit for your hogs, and you don't have to worry about the royal champ. So that's the royal champ, that's the eagle, that's the enemy heroes, that's the CC, and that's our pathing. How do we get this town hall down? Okay, so the plan was, while the hogs come through here, to send in a battle blimp with hogs and goblins in it. However, I believe he ends up forgetting that he has the battle blimp, because the hogs are going to pass through here, and then he's going to tome in this area, and he's going to get that down. Now, it's not the end of the world because he gets it down, but you're going to notice he has a split here. Some hogs go into the town hall, some go towards this inferno. And then as that split happens, the scatter shot becomes an issue because it's starting to pick off two groups. So you got the expos and the wizard tower and everything pointing in this way, and you got all these defenses in here teeing off on these hogs with these giant bombs. So he gets a split. So he doesn't panic, realizes that he messed up, and what he's going to end up doing is sending in the battle blimp here. It's going to have a bunch of hogs in it, and they're going to go this way, clear out this, and they're going to start clearing here. And that's every compartment in the base accounted for. So before we get into the replay, we're just going to go ahead and break down exactly the key points when you're looking for a queen charge hog. Queen charge hog, kind of early eagle. You need early eagle access with your hogs or with your queen. Ideally, you get 2 out of the 3 heroes, 3 out of 3 ideally, but 2 out of 3 of the hard-hitting heroes for your hogs on the charge, and then CC, and then pathing. So this is your bare minimum pathing. This is your optimal pathing. Okay, so you're going to want to make sure that you can realistically get into those areas. If there was 4 ground expos, this charge wouldn't happen. Okay, I mean it might. You would have to probably use 3 rages and 2 free spells, but that's going to be a very, very difficult charge to pull off. So just reading the base, kind of coming up with, on the fly plan, and we're going to see how he did it. So nice job, Swizz, coming in. Very smooth attack right here. So yeah, he drops his queen a little bit lower, uses a Coco Loom, gets the healers down right behind, finds those Teslas. There's that funnel. And here comes the wall break. Now he gets that early rage down, keeping his queen topped up, heading into this wall break. Because like I said, there's going to be a lot of damage in here. Now, this rage should have been a little bit deeper. That way his queen stayed raised up. But because he got all the defenses except the cannons down, there's not enough damage coming from the queen. So kind of late on his wall break here. I was worried watching it live. But gets the poison down over the enemy king and over the CC, which is going to slow down the damage tremendously. And you can kind of see the pathing as it develops. So he's into our bare minimum pathing right now, because this is all we planned for. We didn't plan for anything extra. We were kind of just guessing on what else she could get in here. Gets the rage down, and now you can start seeing him build his optimal pathing. See how she kind of ping pongs around in here? So she's going to get this, and then here come the hogs. Starts nice and early. It was unfortunate because he kind of took his eyes off the queen, but she is going to get that bomb tower, and then she's going to get the wizard tower. Now watch how she bounces back. Goes for the expo. Finds both those giant bombs. Has a heal down nice and early. Heading into that scatter. Has a freeze down for it too. He's going to king trade for the RC. Queen's over here making amazing pathing. Now, this is the split. If he would have had that blimp flying over and had everything tomed, he would have had 9 more hogs here, and this wouldn't have been an issue. He would have had those super goblins, but here's that split. So you have hogs over here. These hogs are about to almost die. Then they take the scatter. Now they're really in trouble. RC's chasing those skellies we talked about. Some hogs die. Queen's beating a wall. Here comes the blimp. So this is really what saves his attack. It was a really good move by him in order to do that. But as you can see, his hogs never left the path that we laid out for him. Now they did have to come in here to the town hall, but that's within the path. So RC ability goes off, takes down the rest of the defenses. Still got a full health queen with ability, pops the ability. RC cleans up. Very, very nice attack. So yeah, guys, that's Queen Charge Hogs. So Queen Charge Hogs is just as powerful as a hybrid. It's just different requirements for the base than hybrid. So with hybrid, your hybrid can generally take out 2 or 3 heroes, and your queen doesn't really have to get those. You're looking at like scatter shots and stuff for the hybrid. Really good idea on the hybrid to get down the town hall. But the benefit of a hybrid over a Queen Charge Hogs is being able to hybrid into the town hall if you need to, because you have those miners. But if you can get a plan to get the town hall down and you can get a lot of other value with your queen, you don't really need to bring the hybrid, because he didn't have a funnel set on this base. I'll go ahead and show you. It would have taken him his BK to funnel over here with his siege barracks, and then maybe they get to the RC, but maybe they don't. And then as these troops start coming here, these hogs are going to continue to pass here, and the miners are going to come into the town hall, and you're going to get that tome. But then you're going to have the hogs over here dealing with the RC, who is going to kill all of them. My bad. You're going to have the hogs over here dealing with the RC. That is not going to be good for the hogs. And then you're going to have all your miners heading towards 6, dealing with that scattershot and that single inferno and all those skellies. And your RC is going to be somewhere in here picking which one she wants to help out with. So that's it for the video, guys. I hope that helped, kind of just identifying, where the traps are, things that you need to look for when you're thinking about hogs. Hogs are very much like loons, except they're a little bit more spammy. So just keep that in mind. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, share with your clanmates. I don't want anyone to think that I think I'm like some godly Clash of Clans player. I am a fairly decent, experienced player, and I'm just trying to bring you the stuff that I see and I have learned over the years of playing. So big shout out to my wife. She's going to be doing like 5 or 6 videos worth of editing and posting, and she's going to be doing it all in like one day. So I hope you enjoy your vacation, baby. I love you very much. I'll catch you guys next time.